But active exercise, there are a lot of myths, there are a lot of different methodology. I think one main thing that people misunderstand is the cardio versus weight exercise. Hi, I'm Jeannie Ng. I'm the co-founder of LiCo Wellness. So in the company, I'm also the senior nutrition consultant and trainer. There are a lot of myths, there are a lot of different organizations to help company and individuals to learn more about wellness, about health, and be healthier and fitter. In this situation, all of us are supposed to keep a social distance. You're not supposed to meet that often. So many of the activities has gone from offline to online. So we have Zoom, we have Google Hangout, we do Facebook Live. We still exercise together as a team. So we just set the time. Then everybody will log in and exercise together following the instruction, because it's fun to exercise together, and always the team, the peer pressure, people will push you the extra mile. Fit is a very scientific program, it's a very customized program, and because every individual is different, so we look at their body composition, their fats percentage, their muscle percentage, and from there we customize the program that's suitable for the person using these 4 pillars. One is E, which is exercise. So we teach the clients the right way of exercise based on their body shape, their fats percentage, so that with minimum time they achieve the maximum result. Okay. Second one is attitude. They have to maintain a positive attitude as well. So we look at in terms of their stress level to manage that as well. And of course, R is rest, is to ensure that the clients also have enough sleep. And N, of course, is nutrients, so that we also teach them on the correct food choices, cooking method, healthy cooking or meal preparation method, so that they can also prepare their own meals and they can eat healthy. So Fit Freak is really based on the EARN, so that we can earn our health and also our fitness. A lot of people are doing cardio exercise, which is the running, jogging, swimming, etc. These are good exercise and they burn fats immediately, they burn calories immediately. So it's like an active income. Today I work out, I burn the calories. Tomorrow, if I don't work out, I don't burn the calories, and so on. Right? What a lot of people didn't realize is that building muscle is actually like building a passive income. So when we do weight exercise or resistance exercise, we actually tend to build muscle, and every kg of muscle can burn additional 100 calories a day. So whether you're eating, sleeping, doing nothing, still get the calories burned. So it's like a passive income that we build. That's why we always encourage our clients, on top of the cardio, we need to do the weight exercise as well to build muscle. We realize that we need to be healthy. Cannot take things for granted in that sense. That's why the slogan of our company is wellness is a lifestyle. Not just that, but also helping people live better lives is what we believe in.
Alright. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Jeannie. Hi, Caroline. I'm the nutritionist in LiCo Wellness. Of course, this talk is also on YouTube. So if you have friends whom you think might miss this, you can share with them. They can rewatch this on YouTube as well. All right, and today on FC28, what we are going to share today is about exercise, right? So let me share with you, starting with my slides. Okay, can hear me loud and clear, right? Also can see my slides, yeah? Okay, right. Okay, so let's get started. And we want to explore the right exercise regime for you in this course. This is the 4th lesson of our FC28, Fitness Coaching 28 Days. And in these 28 days, what we want to achieve is really a holistic health, not just in terms of diet, but also our lifestyle, our sleep, and of course, last but not least, our exercise. So today we're talking about exercise and finding the right exercise regime for you. And this is Singapore numbers. I think many of us know this. Well, Singapore is a country that has already got one of the longest life expectancy in the world, which is 85, 86 years old. For women, it's even a bit longer. But we also know that our health span is only about 74 years, meaning for the good 10, 11 years, we call it our marginal decade, the last decade of our life, the person is either mentally unwell or physically not able to perform what the person wants to do 100%, right? So what if we can do what we can, is called our health span, which might differ from one person to another, right? That's our health span. But our lifespan, we know that yes, we can live so long, but towards the last 10 years, we might not be able to function as much as we would like to. And everybody will enter into the last 10 years. Some of us or many of us don't know when is our last 10 years, but we will be there, right? So today's talk is really to prepare for this marginal decade, this last 10 years. Okay, so in the last 15 years, we have been, LiCo Wellness has been around for over 10 years. We have been educating many of our friends, community on healthy diet, on cooking, on baking. It's only in the last 5 years that we start to focus on exercise, right? Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you know it or not. 5 years ago or pre-COVID, we don't really do a lot of exercise activity. But more and more research are pointing towards this. More and more reading and, research are telling us that exercise might be the most potent drug that we can have to extend the quality of our life, not just the quantity of our life. Both are important, right? We want to extend the years and we also want to have good quality. So, exercise is promised to be the best drugs, better than any other measures that we could use. So let's look at this. Okay, the research has already been very clear. This is a 2011 meta-analysis, analyzed over 1.3 million people, right? So this is a real big scale study. And it says that people who engage in regular, moderate to vigorous physical activity has a 22% lower risk of all-cause mortality, right? Meaning we just have to do moderate to rigorous exercise, don't have to be like go crazy about exercising. Already we can reduce our death based on any cause at all. It will just reduce, right? All-cause mortality. Another one as well, another review over 1.44 million adults over 14 years, right? The Lancet is one of the top medical journal in the world, right? You're actually seeing that it's confirmed that those who engage in leisure time physical activity has a 31% lower risk of all-cause mortality. So what does it mean by a 31% lower risk? So if this person is only 20 years old, it might not matter so much because the death risk for a 20-year-old person could just be 1 or 2%, right? Not many people will die at age of 20 to 30 years old. But if this person is already 40 to 50 years old or 50 to 60 years old, when the death risk increase, for example, at 60 years old, we're looking at about 10%, a 31% lower risk is substantial, is important, right? So that would also mean that the older we get, the more important it is to stay active. Does that make sense? Okay? Even if we engage exercise below the recommended level. So a lot of people will tell me that, Jeannie, I know we need to do 150 to 300 minutes a week. I don't have time, right? Ever heard that before? But even if we exercise below that, there is still a significant risk reduction. Okay, so makes sense. And then another things that people will ask me will be, people will say, wow, exercise so much. We also see people, over exercise is also bad for you. So this study also sort of telling us how much is over exercise. Okay, so if you look at this chart, this is mortality risk. One means the person got the highest risk and it will go down. You see that the risk actually go down until a certain point that you go up again, right? So when is this point? This is the point that you can over exercise. And how much is that over exercise? 75 hours a week. That's 10 hours a day, right? So you exercise 10 hours a day, then yes, it increase your risk of mortality. Anything less than that, you keep having lower risk of mortality. That means you will benefit from any exercise, right? And you can see from 1 to 0.8, right, is from here. Okay, so if this person right now got no exercise at all, 0 hour, as long as you can commit 3 hours a week, you can reduce your death rate by 20%, mortality rate by 20%. Worth it or not? Just invest 3 hours working out, you can reduce your death percentage or chance by 20%. I think it's very, very worthwhile. The person who has got the most benefit is from 0 to starting to exercise. So if you have friends, if you have family members, elderly, who don't exercise at all, just start by doing 2-3 hours a week. The person will get tremendous benefit. We'll explain more what benefits are there. All right. But first is mortality. Okay. And secondly, research also showed that sedentary behavior actually increase the risk of dementia. Okay, dementia is one of the a big concern nowadays because, of course, number one is because as we live longer, we tend to have these issues more and more, and the onset is also getting faster. It's also getting earlier, younger, right? But is it just because of old age? Or is it actually the result of long-term sedentary lifestyle? Okay, so physical activity, like to do it yourself activity, heavy DIY, some exercise can reduce the risk of dementia and also dementia mortality. So what we are saying is that even if you have family members already diagnosed with mild dementia, starting to have issues of dementia, workout or physical activity can still help to bring down the mortality rate, can still prolong the life. Does it make sense? Okay. And we are looking at minimum just 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day over 6 days a week is the 3 hours that we are looking for. That's all we need. Okay. And how much is 30 minutes in terms of the whole day? 30 minutes is only 2% of 24 hours, right? It's actually a very small amount of time. Okay. Right. And of course, we know that physical activity has many benefits: manage weight, combat health conditions, improve our mood, etc. Okay, I'll share with you more about this. So the 3 types of exercise, how do we allocate that 3 hours? This is what we want to talk about. Assuming just now I've already convinced you that, we need to exercise, right? Can I? So if you are convinced that yes, exercise can help us, and I'm okay to put in 3 hours a week, what do we need to do? Generally, it's broken down into these three big categories: cardio, strength, balancing, and stability and flexibility, right? So this would be the types of exercise we want to do. That's because we have 2 different types of muscles. Okay, one is for endurance, which is the slow twitch muscle. You can see there's a lot radar in the muscles, a lot of blood supply. So it uses a lot of oxygen blood supply for this slow twitch muscle to work. And we also have fast twitch muscles, which give us the strength and the explosive power. A lot of people say that I cannot jump anymore. I don't have the energy to jump, but I can still walk. Walking use the endurance muscle, and jumping use the strength group of muscles. These are 2 different muscles groups. So we need to stimulate them. We need to train both of them. That's why no one exercise is good enough for everybody. All right. So slow twitch muscles can last very long. Like for example, if you walk, you can go for a long walk. You can walk for hours. Even slow jog, a lot of people can jog for 1, 2, 3 hours is okay. But the fast twitch generally is very explosive. Like you can jump very high, but it's unlikely that we can jump for 1 hour very high. Maybe 2 minutes, okay? 30 seconds to 3 to 4 minutes, very explosive movement that use the fast twitch muscles. Okay, so from here you can see that we need to train both sets to give us the endurance and also to give us the explosive power. Okay, and of course, what gets measured gets done.
if you have not done this before or not in the last 2-3 months, go to a Pure Mall to do your in-body so that you know your muscle percentage. This is a detailed one whereby you can see where are your muscles distributed, arms, legs, higher, upper or lower body, where are your fats being where are your muscles being distributed? Sorry about that. And then we do have our fitness evaluation as well. If you want to get to know more, let us know so that we can carry out this fitness evaluation as well. But let's talk about the 3 types of exercise. Number 1, cardio. Cardio, there are 2 types that we want to do. Number 1 is our zone 2. Number 2 is our high intensity cardio. So 2 types of cardio, low intensity and high intensity. For low intensity, zone 2 is something like a moderate intensity activity. You can be riding a bike, you can be jogging, or you can be walking on a brisk walk. All right, you want to bring up your heart rate to 65 to 75%. Wow, okay, Jeannie, what's that? That might be a bit difficult, but what you can do intuitively is that how to gauge is that when you are doing this exercise, for example, you are brisk walking, you can talk, you can still talk, but you don't feel like talking. Like if people talking to you, you can answer, or if you pick up a call, when you talk on the phone, the person on the other side of the phone will know that you're exercising. You're not just walking at a very slow pace and you can talk properly, right? That is probably zone 2. And we want to do at least 4 sessions, 30 minutes a day. Okay, 4 to 6 sessions, 30 minutes a day. It can be slow jog. It can be just brisk walk that bring your heart rate up. So the other questions that I get is that, how about the 10,000 steps, Ginny? I always try to do the 10,000 steps, right? So 10,000 steps is good if you are sitting the whole day, not doing anything at all. It's better than doing nothing. But if you just walk leisurely, 10,000 steps is not enough to work on your cardio. It's not enough to train your heart, to give you that, the cardiovascular health is not good enough. You need to go into zone 2. Brisk walking is likely just zone 1. You can still talk properly like me, like that. I'm talking now, right? But you have to go to a point that you can talk, but you rather not talk. Okay, that kind then is zone 2. You're working on our cardio. Okay, that is our cardio training. It's got a lot of benefits, including help us to maximize our mitochondrial function. Mitochondria is the part in every cells that release energy in our body. So imagine if every cells of us is more efficient, can work harder, can give you better metabolism rate, our whole body will be healthier, right? So this is the main aim of zone 2, right? To make our cells healthier, to build our cardiovascular health. And why do you need to do HIIT? HIIT is the high intensity one. This one you cannot talk one. Okay, cannot talk at all. You feel like your heart is going to pop up. But how often do you need to do this? You only need to do this once a week. Hopefully 3 minutes. You push yourself to the maximum, run as fast as you can, or just go on, for example, jumping jack for 3 minutes, and then you rest for 3 minutes. Then you do again another 3 minutes and rest for 3 minutes. 3 to 4 sessions of this. That is why I do HIIT once a week. Okay, once a week I coach HIIT at Safra Tampines. So if you want to join me every Thursday, 6:30, this is what you get. Push you to the maximum, bring your heart rate up to over 80%. Right? So this I'm not going to tell you that's the most comfortable experience. That's why we also don't need to do this very often. Once a week is good enough to bring up our VO2 max. Then the next question is, what is VO2 max? Okay, VO2 max is the maximum oxygen that we can use when we push yourself to the limit. That's the best your body can make use of the oxygen. So this is the test that people do it in the lab, put you on an oxygen mask, right? And then put you on the treadmill to push you all the way. till failure. Until you cannot anymore, you say stop, right? So from there, it measures the volume of oxygen, maximum volume of oxygen that the body can use. Okay, so this is a very robust measurement. It measures the lungs, how much oxygen can be taken in by your lungs, used by your heart, pump it to every body, every cells in your body, and how much the muscles can take up the oxygen. Right? So this is a very big number, and this is the most useful number to predict our death. Right? The higher your VO2 max, the higher your chance of survival for this year, for every year. It's linked to our lifespan. Okay? Repeat, this is if there's only one number that you want to look at to measure your health or to predict what is your chances of mortality this year. It's not about your heart rate, it's not about your blood pressure, it's not about your blood sugar, but is your VO2 max. All right, and it's not something that you can fake. Like blood sugar, you can still last few days maybe you don't eat a lot of sugary food, you can still cheat the system. But for VO2 max, you can't. You really need to train over time to have a good VO2 max. So if you don't know your VO2 max, okay, let me tell you, it can predict your overall longevity. The higher it is, the lower your risk of death and heart disease. Okay, the higher it is, the lower the risk of heart failure. The higher it is, the lower the risk of certain cancer, for example, lung cancer, colorectal cancer, etc. Even for person who has cancer, higher VO2 max increase the chances of survival. And higher the VO2 max, higher the overall brain volume, meaning less risk of anxiety, depression, even dementia. Such an important number. Do you know your VO2 max? Don't know. How come? This is such an important number. Okay. So even if you're not going to if you go to the lab and measure your VO2 max, it costs you about $200. Okay. And it takes about 2-3 hours or so. But nowadays, with a lot of these variables, like I'm wearing a Garmin, it can estimate your VO2 max if you exercise wearing the wearables. So you can have a good estimate of your VO2 max, and over time, we can work on improving the VO2 max. Okay, so let me share with you. This is it. Physical fitness, this is your VO2 max, and this is your age. We know that as we age, our physical fitness will come down. Will come down for sure, right? But if we are trained, we can slow down the reduction and we can square off the curve a bit more so that it doesn't go beyond the line that we cannot do our day-to-day activity anymore. Remember that CPF, what do you call that? Care Shield Life. If we cannot do 3 out of the 6 daily activity, the insurance will pay you certain amount of money every month. That is to help us, for us to get a helper, to help us, for example, to brush our teeth, to change our clothes, and to feed ourselves, right? If our VO2 max drop below a certain number, we can't do this anymore, right? So if this person is sedentary, untrained, might be able to live to 100, but at 75 already cannot do all these activities already. You need help. I think if we are at this point, we rather not have such a long life, right? But if we are trained, we can bring up the physical fitness so that when it drops, it doesn't drop so quickly. We can square the curve. We can do everything up to 95. If that is the case, I think we wouldn't mind living a longer and healthier age. So that's how important physical fitness is. And this is just a table of the VO2 max that we should aim for. So for example, Ginny is 50 to 59 years old. Okay, females 50 to 59 years old if you are with me. Superior is 41. Okay, this is VO2 max, and then excellent is 36.7, good is 33, etc., etc. And when we are 70 to 79, the top is only 36. So we know that it will drop with age for sure. So for yourself, you want to start at a very high number so that even when it drops over the years, it doesn't go below 30. Right? Likely, if you go below 25, 20 or 25, you can't do the 3 out of the 6 activities already. You can't even walk for 1 kilometer. You can't even walk up 2 flights of steps. Okay, so this is what we aim for. So depends on what you want to do at 75. Okay, for example, at 75 years old, if you still want to walk for 3 miles per hour on flat ground, if you still want to be able to walk at 75, when you're 45, you better be able to walk up, walk an incline level 3 miles per hour, right? Because we know that it will go down. So if you still want to run at 75, now you have to be able to run much, much faster to keep that fitness, to maintain that fitness so that it doesn't deteriorate so much. Does it make sense? Right? So we have to think about what we want to do at our marginal decade, because so many clients are telling me, Ginny, I know that now the priority is the career. I need to work very hard. I climb the corporate ladder and make my fortune, and I want to retire and go travel. But what makes you think that when you retire at 60 years old, you still have that physical strength to go and walk up? For example, to go, to go Yunnan, to go Shangri-La, to go high altitude place, to walk for 3 hours, or to go hiking. We need to maintain it now. We need to train now, right? In order to preserve that ability when we age. So this is very important. For example, if you still want to play with your grandchildren at 70 years old, how does a grandchildren play? 3 years old, 2 years old grandchildren. You want to be able to sit on the floor, right? To play with them, right? Babies don't sit on table and play with you, right? Table and chair. But I've got many clients at 50 plus already tell me I cannot sit on the floor already. When I sit on the floor, I cannot get up. Or I need, I struggle, people struggle to get out from the floor, right? So you need to, we need to have the end in mind. We need to train for it. Yes. So let's work on our fitness. Okay. So that is our VO2 max. And then the next thing that we want to work on is strength. Why do we want to build muscle mass? Right? Why is it important to build muscle mass? So at this point, I got to take out my jacket, right? To show you, right? You can still keep muscle mass at 50 plus, right? So that's important, okay? Right. So sorry, it's getting very hot. Okay, right. So why do we want to have healthy muscle mass? Number one, you still want to be able to open up that can of ketchup by yourself, right? Or even when you open up a bottle, you don't want to keep getting help. Okay, so one of our clients, Ivy, was sharing with me that she used to be very underweight and under muscle, and she can't even open up that cap bottle. And now, after working out with us for 2 years, having good protein, she has increased her weight by about 4 to 5 kg. She's very underweight. Now she can open. She said now she got a lot of li already. Very good. So even at 60 plus, you can still improve your strength. Is definitely doable with weight training. And that's what we want, right? You want to still be able to carry things, might not be carrying documents, but you want to carry, for example, your groceries from NTUC, walk back to your house, right? If not, then you always have to call Grab to deliver for you. So carrying upper body strength is important. We want to be able to walk up and down the steps. These are all important things that we need for our day-to-day activities. Thus, we need strength workout. Okay, so focusing on the bigger muscle group. For example, our thigh, okay, our thighs, our abs, glutes, calf. These are some of the bigger muscle groups that we always want to work on. Okay, you don't even need to start with carrying dumbbell. You can just do wall sit, you can just do plank using body weights to give the body some strength, some resistance, so that we can build stronger muscle mass. Okay, so benefit of strength training: reduce the risk of metabolic syndrome. It can help to bring up our metabolism. Okay, even when we are not working out, we can burn more calories, which is good. Improve blood pressure, lower the risk of diabetes. This is all to do with metabolic syndrome, bringing down our risk of metabolic syndrome. It helps with bone density, which is so important, especially for women. Right? Many women clients are telling me that after menopause, they can really feel the difference. They have here pain, a lot of aches and strain like backache, etc. So it's important to maintain our bone density. Also improve balance and reduce the risk of fall. Strength training help to work on our core, which prevent us from having injury, having fall. So this is very important. And help maintain muscle mass during weight loss. There are still many people, in fact, I would say more than 50% of people in Singapore is overweight. The rest are normal weight or under, right? So a lot of people are still struggling to lose weight. But when we say lose weight, actually we mean lose fats. We don't want to lose muscle mass. In fact, we want to maintain and keep as much muscle mass as we can. All right. So increase the resting metabolic rate is what we want to achieve. Okay. Can. So this is it. As we go on with our strength training, we need to increase weight plus proper nutrition and recovery. That's the most important thing. It's not just training. So I always tell my friends, all these muscles, biceps, they are not made in the gym. It's actually made in the kitchen. Nutrition is even more important, and sleep is also super important. So I do have a client who say that how come I exercise, every day for I think at least for 1 to 2 years already, I still don't see my muscle growing at all. Okay, that's because he's not taking enough protein and he doesn't sleep early. He sleeps very, very late. So that has an impact as well. All right, so how much protein do we need? At least 1.5 gram per kg of our body weight. 1.5 to 2 grams, I would say, is optimal. It's the best that we should do if you want to maintain your muscle mass or even improve your muscle mass. Okay, so for example, a person who's 60 kg times 2 will be 120 gram. 120 gram divide into 3 meals will be 40 gram each meal, right? So 40 gram, we'll be looking at about 150 grams of steak, tuna, 190 grams of chicken, for example, right, etc. So you calculate your own. For example, I'm 50 kg, I always times at least 1.5. That's the minimum. For me, is 25, 25, 25. Minimum, I need 3 intakes, 25 grams each, at least. I can do more. It's still okay if I do more, but I need to do minimum of that. And try to go for 50% plant-based protein. Okay, it could be from edamame, nuts, beans, tofu, tau kwa, tempeh. All these are good source of plant-based protein, so that we don't overdo in terms of saturated fat and cholesterol, right? We just talked about cholesterol yesterday. Okay, so for me, the easiest way is our Neutralite protein powder or plant protein powder. This is a vegan formulation. 1 scoop, 10 grams, already give me 8 grams of protein. So every morning, my breakfast is 3 scoops of this, together with my vegetable blend, usually 4 to 5 types of vegetables, including carrot, tomato, celery, kale, purple cabbage, carrot, whatever that I could find, I'll put them together. And this is a very holistic breakfast. And it solves the problem of taking enough protein for breakfast, which is always the challenge, right? Think about the traditional breakfast like bread lah, bee hoon, noodles and all that, usually is very low in protein, high in carbs. Okay, so this is what we can do. We do a smoothie compared to all the other plant-based. If you like the other plant-based, please go ahead and take them as well. Chickpeas is good. Red bean. Okay, whole grain bread has got a bit. Walnut, tofu is good. Hazelnut, pistachio, cashew nuts, all these nuts has got high in protein as well, but it's even higher in fats. So if you're concerned about your body weight, yes, you take nuts, but limit to about 10 to 15 pieces a day so that we don't overdo in terms of fats. Okay, and then you have the peanut butter, almond, etc. To me, easiest is still our plant protein powder because every 100 gram give me 80 grams of protein. Clean, vegan, no added color, flavor, preservatives, no sugar, almost no fat, right? So it's clean plant-based protein. All right, so it comes with different flavors as well. If you like the berries, green tea or chocolate flavors, by all means. For me, the higher yield one is still the plain ones. One scoop, 8 grams of protein. Okay, I've been taking that for many, many years and it's still serving me very well. All right. And for those who exercise or for those who don't exercise or want to focus on just building muscle, you can look at XS muscle multiplier as well. Every stick, right, give us 3.5 grams of essential amino acids. It's vegan, it's vegetarian, low calorie, gluten-free, no sugar, no cholesterol, no fat. Okay, so it's a very clean supplement. It focuses on building muscle. Okay, the essential amino acid is actually arranged in a specific way whereby when the body takes in this essential amino acid, it goes directly to building muscle. So especially good for those who are under muscle, underweight. 1 gram of muscle multiplier can produce up to 1.94 grams of muscle. Right, compared to whey protein and branched chain amino acid, this is a lot more efficient. All right. And when is the time to take protein? So that's another question. Especially for ladies, guys, because their metabolism is a bit different from ladies, they have the longer window to take in the protein. For ladies, if you work out, you really want to catch the 30 minutes, within 30 minutes after workout, to take in your protein shake so that the body can make use of it. Catch the metabolic window after workout. Right? Research has shows that this is an update. We always think that after workout we have to quickly drink, but apparently for men they have a longer window. Life is just not fair, I suppose, right? So men can be longer, even 1-2 hours after that when they drink is still okay. But for ladies especially, we want to catch the 30 minutes window. So after every workout, I always drink my protein shake immediately. Okay, to give me that benefit. I just finished my workout as well. Like rushing also for this talk. It's always, trying to do a bit more. So yeah, this is how it is, right? So this is about strength workout. Strength workout is important to build strength, to maintain muscle mass and bone mass. Important thing is that we need to strain the muscles. You have to do resistance workout. And number 2, you need to have enough protein. Okay, for cardio and all that, protein is not as important, but for strength workout, protein is very important. Then we come to the third part, stability. Balance and flexibility is very, very important. It improves our range of motion. So I know a friend who tell me that he's driving, right? So something, when he brake, right, something happened, something dropped, I think, from the back seat. So he tried to turn and see, and then, strained the neck already, right? So that shows that the flexibility and the range of motion is very, very bad. Okay, so with flexibility exercise, we can improve on that so that you don't like strain or injure yourself easily. It enhances our posture so that we can always sit up straight, okay, and not having issues like back pain, slouching, cross shoulders, and all these issues. Can, okay, it increases the stability to reduce the risk of injury. So to reduce the risk of injury, you think our core strength is very important and balancing is also very, very important. You think most people injure themselves when they walk up the hill or walk down the hill? Usually you see people fall down or injure themselves when they're walking up or down. Down, right? When they're walking down, that's because of stability and we are not able to brake properly, right? So balance and flexibility training will help us to be able to do that. Reduce the risk of fall. Remember, for elderly, 60 to 70%, a lot of percentage of hospitalization is due to fall. And especially for women, once we fall, and for women with osteoporosis, very brittle bone, there's a big chance of having a bone fracture, right? And if we fracture our major bones, for example, hip bone, the person is very likely to be on wheelchair long term and the mortality also have a very high chance of passing away in the next 1 year, simply because our movement will be restricted, won't be able to do a lot of things, and it will just spiral down, right? So injury prevention is one of the most important thing when we exercise. So balance and flexibility exercise is important. Of course, it relieves stress as well and relaxation. I'm not sure. We did yin yoga last weekend. I thought it's really good in terms of relaxation, but Patricia thought otherwise. So we can discuss about that later. Okay. Yes, it should relieve our stress and relax our muscles as well. Okay, so that is flexibility. What if you cannot do any of that? Say, Jeannie, sorry, too bad. I just can't. My work, my family, my kids, everything takes priority over my workout. I cannot spend 3 hours a week. This is what you can do. The latest research look at the effect of vigorous, intermittent, lifestyle, physical activity, willpower. It's, it's a mouthful, I know. But willpower, you only need to do 4 to 5 minutes a day, okay, of a 1 minute burst of activity. It can also reduce up to 32% of cancer risk. So when we walk, when our day-to-day activity offer a lot of opportunity for us to do willpower. For example, when you go to the MRT station, usually you either have to go up, okay, either go up or go down. After go down, you still have to go up. Usually, where do you go? Do you go to the escalator or do you walk the steps? So from now onwards, take that 1 minute, walk up the steps. It's not going to take you a lot more time. Even if you're on escalator, can you walk up the escalator? It will help as well. Okay, so stairs climbing, carrying of groceries, power walking, meaning when you walk from one point to another, walk a bit faster to bring up your heart rate until you can feel your heart rate is coming up. You only need 1 minute each time, and you only need to do 4 to 5 times a day. 4 to 5 minutes a day. 可以吗? If you cannot even do this, sorry, Jeannie cannot help. Nobody can help you, I suppose, right? So willpower is the latest, is the savior for many of us, I think. Busy people. Start with that, right? But it's not a stroll in the park. It's really something that bring up your heart rate. You will 喘 one, you 喘 that kind. It helps you with cardiovascular health, metabolic health. It helps you to burn some calorie, manage some weight, also mental health, muscles and bones, because you're walking up the steps, you'll be working a bit on your muscles and bones as well. And of course, longevity. Okay, if you cannot commit to a standardized exercise routine, this is what you can do. You commute, walk up, walk down. If you go, for example, from your office, go down for lunch, you can take a lift down, but when you come back up or when you come home, right? I'm on the 9th floor, so when you come home, you can just walk up the steps. Okay, to build up the willpower. It should be a lot easier to commit to do, right? So stretching, balancing, all these are things that we can do at home. Just do a simple neck stretch, for example. Just by doing this, you can feel it already, right? Bring your head towards the right. You can feel here, you're really releasing the tension. You bring up your arms, palm facing up. You can find a point, your sweet spot, and hold it there. You can really feel that stretch, right? So it's as simple as that, right? Bear hug. Try to hug yourself as much as you can, right? Bring your arms all the way to the back. Okay? Helps you with shoulder mobility, flexibility as well. These are some simple ones, right? If you like, let me know. I'll send this to you. You can try them. Of course, after that, after you do the basic one, you can move on to some yoga poses, some nice yoga stretches, which I love. I do at least 2 times a week. Gives me a lot more, balancing, flexibility. If still not sure, come join us. Our free community workout, Monday, Friday, or Saturday. We have 3 times a week, either at Choa Chu Kang Tampines or change place liao hor. Need to update me, right? Or join us on Zoom, right? You can still join us on Zoom wherever you are, so that we can all work out together. Try to clock to that 3 hours a week. 3 hours a week, right? So let's see. If you haven't exercised at all, start with basic strength and cardio workout at home. It can just be on the spot jog. You can even do it 5-10 minutes after your dinner. If you watch TV, you just have to keep stepping for 30 minutes. That is a good cardio already, right? Find a physical activity that you like to do. Do something that you like. We tend to be able to persist longer and enjoy it, and find a company to do it together, right? If you're friends, you have an accountability partner, you cannot tell yourself that, today I'm too tired, minat tomorrow then do. No, you have a partner to account to, right? And slowly progress up in terms of duration, in terms of intensity, and eventually aim for 150 to 300 minutes. Okay, moderate to high intensity, including 30 minutes exercise. Okay, 30 minutes strength workout. Okay, can, right? And then sufficient protein intake, 2 grams per kg if you're aiming to build muscle or lose fats, or if your in-body percentage is below 100% for your 4 limbs. For your hands and for your legs, if any one of them are below 100%, you can up your protein intake. And sufficient sleep is also important, 7 to 8 hours a day. If you want to talk about sleep, we can find 1 week to specifically focus on sleep and how do we improve our sleep, right? And every brief, vigorous burst of activity is also good. Chase the bus, go, walk when you cross the road, walk faster so that the drivers will thank you for it as well. When you need to walk from one point to another, go for meeting, just walk a bit faster, bring up the heart rate, right? And this is the last slide. What seems impossible today will one day be your warm-up. This is what we experienced when we first started working out. Oh, I remember when I first started running, the first 100 meter, I already want to die. I feel that my heart's going to pop out already. 100 meter only, 还不到100 meter. And it was just a jog. It's not even a run. I feel like, wow, jogging is not for me. I cannot run. I for sure cannot run. But after running zone 2 since early last year together with Pat, right? We learned about zone 2. Then we quickly practice. And now, yesterday, I ran non-stop for 1 hour and over 8 kilometers, right? It can be done. It's just a matter of training. Over time, our body will be able to do what we want. All right, so that's the last slide that I have. Any questions? And let's discuss if you have any questions, any experience that you had while working out that you'd like to share. This video is also recorded on YouTube. So if you like, I could share with you the link as well. You can share with your friends, you know, to do this together. So if you are new, if you are willing to commit to that 3 hours, let's work on that. Maybe 30 minutes, 3 sessions of 30 minutes, you just do zone 2. Either after meals, you just brisk walk, or you just go on the spot. Just 3 to 4 times a week, 30 minutes. And then 2 times a week, that 30 minutes, we need to do strength. You can just start with plank, 1 minute, and then we can do wall sit, a few sessions of 1 minute, right? We can start with that. Slowly, eventually, progress to using dumbbell. And once a week, try to do your VO2 max workout, which really push yourself to yeah, to high heart rate more than 80%. How do you train to run? Grace asked, how do I train to run? Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. So I realized that I can run longer because the aim is really to get in zone 2, right? If I have a pacer with me, I have someone who run with me. I think that's the best. Usually I run with my husband. So he is very good at keeping a consistent pace. I don't have to look at my watch to see how many kilometer per minute, but I will just follow him. And then whenever I run, I try to adjust my breathing. I think the breathing when we run is very important. Number one, don't open your mouth. The last thing you want is open your mouth when you run. You always want to breathe using your nose only, so that it doesn't make you very thirsty and very chuan, right? And then I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, 4 steps, breathe in, 4 steps, breathe out. That's how I run now. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, out, 1, 2, 3, 4. So very consistent breathing, and it can keep me going for, like easily an hour, not a problem. So who wants to run together? We can aim, we can have activities together. We can run together. Grace, want to run together or not? You're very near me, leh. We can go and run together, right? And just to motivate ourselves, we can also register and, or go for one of the run event, like half marathon or even 10-kilometer run. Maybe we can just start with a 10-kilometer run as a team. Do this together. I think that'll be really fun. All right. So let me know. Never a runner. Yeah, same. I have never run before 50 years old. I never run at all before I was 50 years old, okay? So you're still very early and very young to start. Yes. But it is, I think I starting to see the benefit, or maybe they call it the runner's high, You really feel happy after you accomplish every run. Right? It helps with the mood. It helps with, I think, our confidence as well. And of course, it helps with our heart health. That's more important. All right. Any questions? I see from here, Cikgu Chiu. Hi, Cikgu. Sapa, Cikgu? Selamat petang, Cikgu. Okay. We have Grace here, Ronald, LiCo. Hi, Cindy, Xiao Wei, Tiru. Hi, Tiru. Okay. If you have any questions, Patricia run 5 kilometer before. Yeah. If you want, we can start with 5 kilometers. Some of you might want to do 5 kilometer, some 10, but we can make this our goal for this year. Do this together and achieve together. I think that'll be really fun. We can train together. Yes, Pehan also started zone 2. Pehan, you ran the treadmill, right, most of the time? Yeah, treadmill is another way for consistent. If I want to have consistent pace, I run at a treadmill as well. That's another way, because you set the. Okay, yes, that's what I usually do as well. If you watch the Netflix, I don't have Netflix account. Quite cool. I asked Pehan for the password for Netflix. Anyway, right? I listen to podcasts. I listen to my podcast when I do my workout, when I run. Yeah, that's what I do. All right. So, any other question? If not, then thanks for learning together. I see you back next week, same time, same Zoom link, same channel. All right? Thank you, people. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You iPhone. Whose iPhone? Thank you, thank you. Thanks, Cindy. Bye-bye.